All right, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of SASCC Talks. SASCC Talks is a program that's really designed to be an intergenerational bridge between the senior community and the young adult community in our area. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Tylor Taylor. I'm the Executive Director for the Saratoga Area Senior Coordinating Council. It's a really long name, but we go by SASCC for short. I also serve as the Santa Clara County Senior Care Commission Chairperson, and we do a lot of work for older adults in our communities. We have in this program, what we do is we invite a special guest, a community leader, and we talk about topics of the day, and we also talk about the best of our community and what it has to offer. Today we are very, very fortunate to have with us Santa Clara County Sheriff Laurie Smith. It's really a treat to have you, and again, we really appreciate you taking some time to join us. You have a long career in the county, 20 years as the sheriff. It's a very interesting concept that you're not only the top law enforcement officer, but you're also an elected official, and that's got to be a tough balance to maintain. You know, being a law enforcement officer has its own inherent challenges, and then being an elected official has its own inherent challenges, and you've got them both put together. So what led you down this career path? And maybe you can share a little bit of your background with our viewers.
So I started the sheriff's office in 1973. So I've been with the sheriff's office for over 47 years and served as the elected sheriff for about 22 years now. And I'm real thankful to the voters that have put their trust in our organization and what we can do. So when I started the sheriff's office, if you were a woman, you could not even take the test for deputy sheriff. My title was Deputy Sheriff Matron. We went to the same academy. We were peace officers. We carried guns. We were paid 15% less. And we were limited in what we could do. The thing that I laugh about most often is that our uniforms were only skirts. We had the green skirt, the same tan shirt, and we did carry a gun, but not on our hip. This is actually our uniform purse. And
Oh, wow.
in the purse is the holster and the handcuff case. And that was our uniform. Then in about 1973 or 4, we started being able to wear pants. And I hope some of your viewers remember the old polyester leisure suits, but I remember being thrilled from going to the skirt only, the green skirt, to being able to wear pants. But this is what our uniform looked like starting in about 1974.
Wow.
Nice, huh? Green polyester. And this one was not mine, and you can see, if you're close up, maybe I'll do this other camera. The badge is smaller than our badges now, and it says matron on it because we were deputy sheriff matrons. And just further fun, our pants were elastic polyester. So a lot has changed. In 1975, we were reclassified to full deputy sheriffs. There was a federal court lawsuit that was settled for discrimination. It was really kind of a difficult time because there were still men that believed that women could not be cops. So being sheriff for the period of time I've been, I really owe it to the strong women that came before me that had the guts to initiate the federal lawsuit, to claim the discrimination, and that really provided people in my generation the ability to move through the ranks. And when I first got hired, my goal was I just wanted to be able to work patrol. I wanted to be able to work a patrol car because that was prohibited from women. And never did I dream that I would have the opportunity to serve in this position. So it's been a really interesting career over 47 years, and we've got a great organization that I'm very proud of.
That's such a powerful concept. Our very first edition of SASCC Talks was with former County Supervisor Ken Yeager, and he was talking about the fight and struggle for LGBTQ rights in Santa Clara County, and the steps that it took to make progress in that end. And so it's really impactful, and it's worth talking about what it took to get us to where we are today, because I think a lot of times there's a little bit of a short memory, and people feel like they've come a long way, and there's still a long ways to go, but it's worth talking about all of the effort that got us to this point. Even though there's still a ways ahead, we've accomplished a lot so far. And you're a great example of that. So a little bit more about how that sparked you to move up in the ranks.
I was really fortunate. I had the very best jobs in the department. I also had, the less desirable. I never had a plan to move through the ranks. And I don't know if I was cut off at the time. When I first started, all I wanted to do was work patrol. That was my dream. Never did I dream that I'd ever be able to be in this type of position. And I'm grateful every day to the voters, to the organization. I know we provide great quality service, and I'm very, very proud of the men and women who serve our communities.
One of the things in your background was that you worked undercover. That's a pretty dangerous thing to do, particularly if you have to go inside of the purse for the protection. That's an extra layer of, you got two things or three things to open up. What was that experience like for you, and how many, were you in situations where your life was at risk, and what kind of stories do you have from that time?
I worked a lot of undercover operations, and that was in about 1976. So by that time, I was a full deputy sheriff. It was after the settlement of the lawsuit. And it was interesting because the world still wasn't thinking female cop. And so I was really good at buying drugs or going somewhere where they didn't suspect me of being law enforcement. And I think some of the partners I had, thought I was really good at what I did, versus the community was not thinking this could be a cop. So, buying drugs, there was some real difficult. But when you're 22, 23, 24 years old, you're not as smart as you are at my age now. And, certainly I always had backup and always had cover, but very often by myself, with cover somewhere else. But I think of some of the situations and I think, how could you have been so stupid? But when we hire law enforcement people, we hire people that want to, that know that the job can be dangerous and know that they will respond when there is a crisis. If there's a man with a gun in a building, our deputies are going in. And that's what we expect, and that's what you get when you sign on for the job. And it's a difficult job very often. And again, our deputies do a great job. We do a lot of training on active shooters and things like that. So we will go in immediately if there's an active shooter type situation. Law enforcement has really, really progressed a lot in that area since Columbine, where people waited outside until the situation was clear. So we do a lot of training in that area, and the deputies understand our expectations.
There's a lot of conversation right now around calls regarding mental health, especially those older adults who may be suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. Officers and deputies are oftentimes placed in situations that are, for a normal person, would be very difficult to determine what's the best way forward and how to manage and resolve a whole host of different types of scenarios. What kind of training do they go through to help them prepare for that?
So, we do a lot of training, and training that we haven't done, not just tactical training, but decision-making training. We have simulators that will simulate a critical incident where it's like a big video, and do you shoot, do you not shoot, how do you handle the situation? And we do a lot of the scenarios, but also really critiquing responses. We've also started doing things like mindfulness training that really helps our deputies with the mindset. Certainly de-escalation. We at the Sheriff's Office actually run the Regional Police Academy here, and we're always making modifications, obviously meeting state standards, but making modifications for what do staff need. Many years ago, I'm thinking maybe 5 years ago now, we started training the crisis intervention training in the academy. It's a 40-hour block of training on how to deal with mental health. Certainly that is a big issue. I'm also extremely excited that I've been proposing this for years, is that, and we'll be doing it in the communities you represent, we will have a deputy assigned in a car with a clinician, and they will respond to calls for mental health, because the clinician brings another dimension, and also the clinician will have access to the person's medical records, the mental health records. They'll know resources, they'll know much more about it than we do. We'll still have all the criminal databases, but they'll have all the mental health databases. And I think that's going to be really effective. And we've actually selected the clinicians, and it's a program that'll be starting soon. And some other agencies will be doing it also, but I think that we might be one of the first. People with mental health issues do not belong in jail, but the percentage of people with mental health issues in the jail is tremendous. And they committed a crime allegedly, but very often that crime is a result of their mental illness, whether it's an assault or a theft. This county also has a real aggressive mental health court that really treats the person, not just the crime. So I think that Santa Clara County is always a leader in areas, and I'm really excited about getting these mental health teams on the streets answering calls with mental health.
That's fantastic. That's a really thoughtful use of resources. It makes me think of our RIDE senior transportation program. What our drivers are trained to do is recognize signs and symptoms of need or distress in seniors. They have specific training learning how to recognize those things. And the operators of the program, SASCC is one of them, and also West Valley Community Services is our partner agency. And so we offer lots of different resources to older adults and to the community in general. So when our drivers pick up on that, they don't just, using Uber or Lyft as an example, it's not just get in and get out of the car. There are services that we can plug people into, and that's one of the benefits of the program. And that's championed by the county. There are fiscal agent, Supervisor Samidian and Wasserman were our initial champions in getting it off the ground. But there's a template there for that, and I think it's very encouraging to hear that there's thought being put into how to best address those issues that the community is facing, and multidisciplinary teams like this. I agree with you. I think that'll be quite effective. So, kudos to you and the department for adopting that.
Well, thank you. I'm excited. I think it'll be real beneficial.
I just wanted to take a second to, I mentioned it off camera, but your team here in the West Valley department, led by Captain Rich Urena and one of the community service officers, Deputy Corey Chow, have just been a pleasure to work with in our area. They're always supportive of senior initiatives. Captain Urena is actually a member of our age-friendly commission here in Saratoga. And our commission is a leader in the county. And so with the Sheriff's Department's strong presence here, building those bridges and being a presence, it's really been helpful. The support has been felt both ways. So I just wanted to take a moment and thank them and to thank you for empowering your team to connect with the community in those meaningful ways.
Well, thank you, and I will convey that to them. Thank you.
Sure. Through this time is COVID. I mean, this has been a tough year for everybody. In particular, there's been a lot of blowback for law enforcement officers in the unrest and things that have happened. How do you keep morale up for yourself and for your team during a time like this?
Thank you for recognizing that. That is difficult. It's not just morale, but it's how we have to do things differently. Again, I think I mentioned too, that our deputies understand the risks. We've had 110 of our staff members test positive for COVID. We do regular testing, of course. We're getting to an every 2-week test. We know the first vaccines will go to mental health people, but the next phases will go to first responders and public safety. We do everything we can to keep our staff healthy. We have decontamination teams. If someone goes to a call and there's a COVID positive person, we have a whole decontamination protocol where their clothing is bagged, they're provided additional clothing. And we also have a team that responds when there is knowledge of a COVID positive that can assist the deputies with donning their protective gear and things like that. We're doing everything we can, but one of my proudest moments with the sheriff's office, which has really spanned my entire career, is the quality of the staff that we have, their dedication. They know that they're risking themselves and their health when they show up every day, and our people have been only professional and without hesitation responding to what they needed to do. So I think there's pride for them in knowing that they're part of what's important and one of the critical workers during this time. We've had to really adapt our services. I know with your organization, we did a drive-through resource fair, if you will.
Yes.
And it was answering questions, having deputies there, providing resource material. And, the drive-through concept is something that we, haven't done before. Our police academies are a challenge because they have to do arrest and control techniques, and they have to be hands-on with each other. We do graduations now virtually. So there have been a lot of changes, but I think there's a lot of pride from our deputies in knowing that they're providing great service. And I'm proud of every woman and man in this organization.
Wow. This year has really made all of us rethink how we move forward. One of the silver linings, I think, is that some of these things we've learned to do can continue into the future, even after things, go back to how they used to be. Obviously, some things will never be the same, but some of the, like for instance, remote meetings, remote education, remote learning, it allows us to kind of get beyond our walls. We can serve more people, and you don't have to physically always show up to everything. So one of the things that we're going to continue to do is our online classes, our online services, so that those folks who may not be able to come down to the center or may not be able to show up in person can still receive services where they are comfortably in their home setting. So I think we will all learn different ways to make this work for us, even after things start to return to normal. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, and I would just really, really ask people to be extra vigilant. We know there's been a huge spike in the number of positive tests in all areas. Be very vigilant. There's light at the end of the tunnel now. We know that there's going to be a vaccine. We know that seniors in residential treatment centers will be among the first to get it. Keep yourself safe. There's an end in sight, I believe. And we've been more efficient in how we do business, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We have to be. One of the things that I've also admired is the way the community has come together where they can to support each other and to help each other get through this. We've just seen so many people willing to volunteer, willing to play a role in helping other people get through this. So it's been very encouraging to see that level of interaction. And it's been remaining and growing stronger as time passes. But I agree with you. I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think that we're getting there, and with leaders like yourself in place, we've got good, strong leadership and hope and folks that'll help us get through this with a thoughtfulness. One thing I wanted to ask you, your service area for the Sheriff's Department, what does it cover?
So, the California Constitution mandates that each of the 58 counties have an elected sheriff. And in each county, the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer. Our deputies have jurisdiction in all areas of the county and concurrent jurisdiction with the cities also. There's a lot of things that we do because we're the sheriff's office, like the jails. We also have a lot of contracts. We contract with the state for court security. We contract with county parks. We also are VTA. We provide all the services for VTA. And then there are 3 cities that, like Saratoga, that contract with us for law enforcement. Cupertino, Saratoga, and Los Altos Hills. And we love and appreciate our relationship with those cities. Everyone wants a good deal, but no one wants a good deal in law enforcement. You want the absolute highest quality service you can get. And if it happens to be a lower cost, that's just a plus. We are extremely competitive in our costs and how what the cities pay when you compare with other cities. We're probably half the cost, but not compromising any type of level of service. So we appreciate our cities. So we have full jurisdiction. We don't have responsibilities in the cities, but nothing prohibits us from taking action on any crime anywhere in the county, including traffic tickets. I'm very often asked, hey, the sheriff's office can't write tickets on the freeway. Oh, yes, we can.
Good to know.
It's not our responsibility, but we certainly have the authority. And we work well with the Highway Patrol, too. And so being with the Sheriff's Office, we're a very, very large organization. We have many task forces that we work with, whether it's methamphetamine, human trafficking, all kinds of task forces where we partner with other agencies, auto thefts. And auto thefts, as everyone knows, are really going up. And you mentioned tips for safety. Make sure that you track your packages and pay attention. I haven't been the victim of a package theft in years until last week. So I should have gotten there earlier. Lock up your mailbox. Make sure that you check your mail all the time. And if someone calls you on the phone and they want any kind of money or any kind of personal information, don't give it. Call us, talk to us, report it to us. We'll either investigate or give you advice or steer you the right direction, but we're certainly available for any kind of questions or concerns you might have. One other thing that we do that really speaks to seniors is we have a sergeant assigned to county counsel's office, and that's the county attorneys. And what this person does is investigations of senior fraud, not abuse. We obviously have people that do that, but if you believe that you are being taken advantage of financially by anyone, we will investigate that, and our county attorney's office will actually go after the person civilly. And unfortunately, very often, elderly are victims of family members. And we will intervene, and we do that throughout the county. But that's really important for people to know. If you think you've been the victim of any kind of financial crime, please let us know. We'll take action, and it won't cost you anything for us to do it. And hopefully we'll be able to save or recover some of your resources.
Wow. Yeah, these are some of the lesser known, very important functions that your office provides to the community. And it's so important, in particular because of the current environment that we're all in. The only real way to reach out to people right now is through the internet or by phone. And those are the most common approaches that scammers take to try to take advantage of older people. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a difficult time on that end as well. We've seen it in our capacity. We do hold Scam Stopper events here
Okay.
Again, Captain Urena was part of our age-friendly commission that helped us put some tools together to help people avoid those situations. So it's a tricky time, but please, our viewers, take heed of this. There are resources available to you that can help, that are at no cost to you, that are provided by a trusted source. So that's very important. Are there any other less talked about services that you guys provide?
The one thing that we do provide also, and let me mention, if you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we're always doing crime tips there. And so I think that's important. But know that if you're going to be on vacation or away from your house, call us. We will do patrol checks of your house while you're gone. If you have an elderly relative that you need us to go check on, we will go check on them to make sure that they're fine. We've done a lot of delivery. I know that we initially helped you with the ride program for seniors,
Yeah.
and that was
Yes.
that was pre-COVID, and
That's right.
so we're there. We're your resource. We are your resource. We want to be contacted. If you see a suspicious person, don't try to decide whether you're right or wrong about the person being suspicious. Let us show up. And the good news is, if you're wrong, good. We checked it out and it's fine. And we will never, ever judge anything if you think someone is suspicious. We will respond. We'll make sure that we know what's going on. So call us, even for the minor things. We want to be notified and we want to be there for you.
Absolutely. One of the parts of this program is helping the younger people also understand and relate to some of the topics that we're dealing with. When it comes to younger people, two questions that I had for you is, number one, what advice do you give them when they are involved with an interaction with the deputies or with the police? What are some tips for them?
You know, the tips are very simple. Communication is very important. We teach communication, de-escalation, how you talk with people. The only tips is be respectful and understand that we're doing our job, and very often it'll be a very even if you're getting a traffic ticket, we will act with courtesy and care. If you believe that any of our staff has not acted appropriately, you're welcome to call our internal affairs division. You can find all that on our website. And because we really pride ourselves in not only the service, but our interaction with people. My only advice to people is just act like you would normally do. Respect the fact that you understand that we have a job. Traffic tickets are for a purpose, and revenue is not the purpose. We want to make sure that we can do everything we can to have safe driving communities. And good. Our Sergeant Mike Lowe, who is one of our public information officers, just gave me the phone number that you can call. So this number, you'll get our dispatch, and our dispatch will talk to you, tell them what your concerns are. They'll send a deputy if that's what's needed. If it's just a question, they may be able to answer. We have deputies on the desk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you could be transferred to a deputy from our dispatch center if something they can't handle. But please call us. Call us with whatever your questions or concerns are.
Wonderful. And then, do you have any advice for young people who might be interested in a career in law enforcement?
Yes, please. It's a great career. You will make a difference in people's lives. You absolutely will make a difference. You may not know it at the time, but you will make a difference. It's an honorable career. Law enforcement is facing some difficult times right now. There are some bad cops in certain places that have given all of law enforcement a bad name, but it's still a considerably honorable profession. It's a great career. Retirement benefits, fringe benefits are wonderful. I would encourage everyone. If you have language skills, that's a plus. If you're a woman, that's certainly a plus. Our organization has a higher percentage of women deputies than most, but we still are not even close to the 50%. So I would encourage everyone who has an interest really in helping people. And helping people very often means putting bad guys in jail. So we want you, we want the highest quality people.
Wow. Well, before we sign off, I just wanted to give an opportunity for you to share any of your proud moments from your time in office, and what do you see as in the future for yourself?
One of these days I hope to retire. I don't know if that means I will run again. I am in my 6th 4-year term. I could have retired a long time ago, but I have a love and care and concern for this organization. This is the organization that's given me my livelihood. I've been very, very fortunate in my career. I would encourage anyone to come in. I think that either I will run for sheriff again or will retire. I'm not looking for what the next job will be. I've been very satisfied with everything. As far as proudest moments, it's the people. And it's probably the people that keep me here. It's the people that I know what we do can make a difference in their safety, their security, their quality of life. We're installing bulletproof windows right now in our patrol cars, and we want to make sure, and my commitment to everybody, and I usually tell wives, mothers, husbands, fathers, I always tell them we will do everything we can to give them the very best training, the very best equipment to make sure that your loved one gets home every night safely. And so it's the people that have made me the proudest, our organization and what we do within the community.
Wow. Well, again, we thank you very much for your time, for your dedication to the community, and for empowering your entire team to work as much as possible with community members like our organization and others to make it a better place for everyone to hopefully grow old in. So thank you very much, Sheriff Smith, for your time, and we hope to have you back again.
Oh, please do. Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
So everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of SASCC Talks. This is our last episode for the year, so we're wishing everyone happy holidays, and please remain safe. Please listen to the tips that Sheriff Smith gave us all. I think that it goes a long way in keeping us all safe, keeping our interactions as positive as possible, and ensuring the best outcomes for everyone. We take our hat off to her and her team for implementing new strategies and dealing with the community and folks that have issues dealing with mental health, and for our older adult population, people suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. Know that the people that are out there are tuning in, they're making sure that they're putting the best practices in place and working with other community partners and agencies to get the best possible result. So with that being said, everyone, happy holidays to you all. Happy holidays, Sheriff Smith, to you and your family and your team. And as always, live sassy. See you next year.